And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, Tom Vasel here.
Hey, Garcia, what's happening?
Today we're taking a look at a two-player game from Blue Orange Games called Nia.
Yeah.
Now this is a game that's about two feuding Japanese clans. They're trying to control the garden because that lets you rule the court, apparently.
It's apparently a very dark political conspiracy going on.
This is an abstract strategy game. It's a two-player game where you're trying to get different tiles on the board in 4 in a row type style, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Let's take a look, and we'll be back. At the beginning of the game, you're going to set up these tiles here in a random, any way you want, as long as it's a 4x4 pattern. Each tile has 2 different characteristics, so you can see, and there's 4 of each characteristic. So you see a sun, 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 sun. Here's a bird, 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 and the 4th bird. Birds are the hardest ones to find, is there. Then there's like flowers, 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 etc. So each player has a handful of tiles with different pictures of people from their clan. The different pictures don't mean anything. These are nice bakelite plastic tiles. So the youngest player goes first, and what they do is they pick any of the outside squares. They take that square off, and they put their person there to take its place. The next person, who's going to go, the red player now, has to put their spot in something that matches one of the 2 characteristics. So I can replace a bird or a flower here. So let's say the red one goes up here, flower, which means the black player now must go to where there's a rain cloud or flowers. So they go here, which means that the red player now must go to rain clouds or the tree with leaves. So they go over here. Now the black player must go to the red banner or the tree with leaves. So they put one here, which means that the red player, oops, sorry, that should have been red. The red player must now put one on the red banner or the flowers. So they look around and they think, and they stupidly put one here. The black player now must put one where there's red banner or cactus, and they go there and they win the game. Because there are 3 ways to win. If you make a square of your color, you win. If you make 4 of yours in a row, you win. Or if your opponent, let's say the game had gone on longer and maybe the birds were gone and replaced by different people. Let's say that the game looked more like this. And then someone went to a spot that, let's say I took this one here, red banner flowers, and then you went here. Okay, that's not going to be a good example because I'm trying to think there's too many moves ahead. But essentially, if you can't make a play, you lose. So if you get 4 in a square, you win. 4 in a row, you win. And if your opponent can't make a play, you also win. That's it. Games are very short. One of the things I liked about this game is that the artwork on the tiles is the same as the Japanese flower cards, which are very prominent in Japan and Korea. That's like a little poker-style deck, and this artwork is pretty much exactly the same, and I like that. The only problem with the artwork is it's hard to tell the birds.
Yeah, I had a problem with the artwork myself, actually. I was really hoping that all the different characteristics would be a little more easily discernible just by a quick glance, and sometimes they're not. I have a hard time.
I think the birds and maybe the trees with red flowers on. I think the rest of them are pretty easy, though. The sun,
the sun's
the
easy.
clouds.
I like the banners, but the birds are hard to spot, and then the tree, I don't know if it's a blossom tree, what it is. They're a little bit hard to tell because it's always a different shape. It's not the exact same image. Again, the game's 5 minutes, but it bothers me a little bit that everything's not really easy to tell apart.
All right, minor quibble, I think. I think the components, I just love this type of plastic.
Those are great.
It feels good to set them down. I think it's interesting that they give you so many because you're never going to use them all. I guess, what do you have, 8? Will you ever put the 8th one down, ever?
I don't know. I don't think so, but technically, they give you enough to fill the whole board, right? So,
how have you found most games to end?
I think I've found most games to end when you are forced to give someone the win. Meaning, not that you cannot win, not that you cannot play and therefore lose, but that the choice tree narrows itself down to the point that you have to play here, which means your opponent now wins.
Right. Okay.
And that's either in a square or in a straight line. Both are equally common.
That's very satisfying to me, though. I like that style, to force your opponent to let you win. It's one of my other favorite abstract games, Kamisado, has that same thing, where you have to maneuver your opponent to where they move, which gives you the win. And this actually has some kinship with Kamisado, because where you place your piece gives your opponent a certain number of options. The very first move gives them 7 different options, and then the second move, that your options get smaller and smaller, and so you're trying to think a few moves ahead. But unlike chess, this is a game where you actually can do that.
Sure.
There's not thousands and thousands of moves. There's probably just hundreds at the most.
Right, absolutely.
I like it a lot. I really do. This is the kind of abstract game that appeals to me because it's very simple rules. It plays very quickly. You can set up again. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, and I like it as an introductory abstract game. I think it's very neat to be able to show it to a non-gamer. Bring this out, set it up in 2 minutes, play in 5. You can explain it very easily, and I think it has that little bit of a spark that they're going to want to say, hey, let's try that again, and then let's try that again. It's a good way to get someone into abstract gaming.
And it's a little classy, too. No, I mean, really, it looks, if you have this set up on your table, people come by and go, ooh. What game is this? You're like, oh, this game came out thousands of years ago. You might even be able to pull that off, but it's not. It's a new game. But anyhow, that's Nia. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.